Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD combines the classic gameplay and levels from Tony Hawk 1 and 2 and puts it in a nice coat of paint for Xbox 360. Is it cashing in on our nostalgia, or is it worth playing? The original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater came out in the tail end of the 90s and really ushered in a whole new era of games that people would be addicted to. I honestly think that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 were the first games that I was really heavily addicted to. I had been playing games since I was a child, but that game, oh my god, you guys would probably know if you're watching this review, that Tony Hawk is excellent. I can actually say, and Andrew can back me up, it's one of the only games I'm actually good at. I play every game, but this is the only one I'm actually good at. So I was really excited to hear that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was getting an HD remake reboot type of thing. I was very skeptical at first, hearing that it would contain the core gameplay of the originals and not add stuff that I had grown used to as the series progressed. Playing, myself playing all the sequels and all the updates, I got used to every new gameplay change. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD combines just gameplay from 1 and 2, which means all you're going to be doing is manualing and jumping and grinding, and that's it. So it plays well, and it's pretty fun in a full HD 30 frames per second environment. It comes with 7 maps combined from 1 and 2. There's a bunch of favorites in there that you'll recognize. And the game looks nice with a nice new coat of paint. The characters animate really great, movement's great, and overall, it's pretty fun at first. Once you jump in, one of the few licensed tracks that they managed to hold on to come on, and you're grinding around familiar levels, you're completing objectives, you're collecting the secret DVD, not the secret tape anymore, and it's an absolute freaking blast. But soon enough, after the first couple of levels in, I started to get really, really frustrated. I guess maybe it's my undoing that I've been such a hardcore Tony Hawk's Pro Skater player up until all of them, but I found a lot of things a little too hard to get used to. Despite having the classic simple gameplay, obviously in an HD environment, the game's mechanics have to be retooled. The physics are different, they take getting used to, the movement it takes getting used to, the speed, everything. It's good and bad because it leads to a much more frustrating experience than I remember playing Tony Hawk. It's a lot harder to get used to things here, and it's almost not worth the trouble since it's just such a short little DLC game. There's only 7 levels, and a couple of recognizable skaters. So by the time you do manage to get used to it, if you even can, you're probably going to want to be done with this game. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like the D-pad or the analog stick, whatever you use, isn't as responsive as it should be. A lot of times I'd be playing as Tony Hawk and I'd be busting out 900s by accident. This sounds crazy to anyone that's played Tony Hawk, because you should know a 900 is kind of a big deal and it's not very easy to pull off, but somehow I managed to accidentally keep doing it. In terms of interface and everything, it's not really very easy to pause and look up special tricks. They don't really allow you to do that. And the goal screens and objective screens aren't as exciting as they used to be. It doesn't really get you excited to do the goals. Nothing really primes you, nothing really amps you, except the music. The music is really great. There's only a handful of licensed tracks maintained from the original 1 and 2, and a couple of nice additions from today. But overall, the soundtrack gets a little repetitive. You're going to be hearing the same songs, bass, how low can you go? 8 times. You could hear it multiple times playing through one level, which is crazy. But like I said, it's really fun to look at, and it's great for a quick pick up and play to just scratch that itch of Tony Hawk. For that, it works perfectly. Being a $15 DLC game, it does have a couple of shortcomings. There's no split-screen multiplayer. Let that sink in. That was my first devastation when I was like, hey, come on, let's play Tony Hawk HD. Nope. There's an online mode, which is alright. It still kind of seems like it's in the works. I had a lot of problems with lag, and I had a lot of problems getting into matches, and they weren't really very fun. But that's all it has. Aside from that, like I said, there's only a couple of levels to choose from. Great choices. They're all really great levels. You're going to remember them all. One odd inclusion is the downhill jam level from Tony Hawk 1, which Tony Hawk himself insisted on putting in this game because he loved it so much. And a lot of people, especially a lot of critics, think this is the biggest gunshot to the face of a level in history. But you know what? It's kind of cool that they put it in. It kind of shows that they don't care what people think, and I have fun playing it. The skaters are nice. There's a couple of omissions that you'll notice, but they added a couple people like Tony Hawk's son. I don't know who he is. I don't know. He must be what the kids like these days. I don't know. But you can also play as your Xbox Live avatar, which is kind of cool. It's a little corny, but it's enjoyable, and it's a good replacement for the Create a Skater mode, which is another thing that is omitted. So in conclusion, for $15, you're getting a pretty decent little nostalgia romp. If you spend more than the amount of time that it's worth, you're going to find yourself probably getting pissed off, frustrated, or bored. You might think I'm being a little picky, but these things do go a long way when you're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and you're probably going to notice it. But I'd say check it out, because for that initial time when you pick it up and you start grinding and you're doing your thing and the music comes on, it is an absolute blast. So check it out for that, if nothing else. So let me know in the comments what you think of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, but best of all, let me know what your favorite Tony Hawk game is. Mine is a tie between 3 and 4, but Project 8 was really great, Underground was great, they're all great, so let me know what you think is the best, and that's pretty much it.